Hi everyone, this is Divansh. Welcome back to the next session. Now, carrying forward from the previous session, we will be hyper-tuning our machine learning model, which will predict whether the person survived in the ship crash or not. Now, before we go ahead, let us change the name of this experiment. Let us name it as sunk ship, or maybe we can name it something better. Survivor or two class decision. Skip gap. Two class decision model. We can name it like this. Now, what we have to do is we know that our accuracy is good, but is there a way that we can actually increase the accuracy? So for that, what we can do is we can create another model. But to do that, let us not work on this. Let us keep it intact. And what we can do is we can create a copy of it. But before we do that, let us save it. And now that it is saved, let's click on experiment again. This is our project, survival prediction. Or I had an easier way. Let me teach you the easier way. We can open it and save as. And save as I can write second survival prediction 2 class decision forest model. Now we are in our next experiment. If you want to check, we can actually go to experiment on the left side and we see that we are in the second one. I just click here and it will open up. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to hypertune and we are going to do a few more changes. Let's take a look at our data one more time. This will take a little time. Okay, this is the data that we had taken. Passenger class, survive, name, gender, age, sibling, parents, ticket fare, cabin, mark, port, and stuff. Now, what we had taken is we had taken whether he survived or not, and we had taken gender into our consideration. And we can see the statistical features over here, or statistical numbers over here. What's the mean, median, min, max, and stuff. Now, another way of visualizing this data with some better financial functions, statistical functions, are let's add a summary of the data. Summary of the data is in here, statistical function, summarize my data. So to summarize my data, I need to add data to this module. And the data is here. This is our data.csv. So I can connect this to this. Now I select this and I run selected only. Let it run, it'll take some time. Now that it has run, I can right click and I can visualize on the output. Let's see. Now you see it has pivoted the data. Now I have the features over here and functions over here and features over here. So passenger class 1309 or 1309. Here the cabin is 295. Unique value and stuff. We can match and take a decision. First current quartile, second quartile, third quartile. I'm sorry, I was using the word quarantine. Cool. Now, what we have to do is, if we take a look at this, let's visualize the data one more time. age for 263 candidates, or for 263 travelers, we don't have the age. It's a missing value. And if you look at fare, missing value is 1. Ticket, there is no missing value, no missing value is 0. It's for the age and fare. Now, what we have to do is we have to do a little more data manipulation. So we added the data, we checked what's the summary of the data, we selected certain columns. Let's click here and select some more columns. Now, what we need to do is we need to add few more options uh, for prediction. Earlier, we had taken only survived and gender. This time, we'll take the passenger class, because passenger class, I think, is a great parameter that can predict whether the person survived or not. Passenger class on like a diamond, gold, or silver. So when it's higher, diamond is higher, so chances of survival is much higher. Age is a good parameter, and whether the person had sibling on the board or not, whether they have parents on board or not, and we can take fare. These are the parameters that can actually predict whether the person survived or not. If a person had parents or siblings, they're highly likely that they will help him out and help the person, and the chances of survival is much higher. Now let's click on OK. And now what we have to do is, we saw that a couple of data points were missing. So for that, what we have to do is we need to replace the missing value. For replacing the missing value, it is a data transformation. So we have to come to data transformation, clean missing data. Now clean missing data should come after edit data, because after doing the edit of the data, we are going to clean it, not clean it and then edit it. Is missing value imputation. So I connect it here, clean missing data. Connect it over here. Now, as we have connected, we need to run it. So run selected. So it'll take a little while. Then clean missing data. I'm going to run this. It will run only this module. Okay. Now let's take a look at the data. Before we do that, we have to click over here, launch column selector, and we have to select not all the columns. We have problem with age was missing and fare was missing, right? Select these two, check it. Minimum missing value, even if 0 means, even if one value is missing, it will work on it. Maximum missing value is 100%, but our data is not that bad. 100% is missing. And how do we want to replace it? One of the function is LOCF, last observation carried forward. Here we have mean, median. If your data is normally distributed, you might want to go for mean. If you think your data is skewed, you want to go for median. If you think there's a large population, specific population which is representing the data, you might want to go for mode. If you think there was no data, absolutely no data, 100% data missing, you might want to remove the entire column. In this case, I know my data is normally distributed. I will go for mean. Okay, let me check it and click run selected. Now we are into split data. So last time I had told you that we had only selected stratified split as false. This time what we are going to do is we are going to make it true. Launch column selector. We are going to split the data on the basis of survived. this column. Click on OK. Let me run this, run selected. Let me right click and visualize this data. Now, if I click on survive, and let me change it, this bin to 2, you see that if I hover on it, 566 element, 62% and 38%. So 62% actually survived, sorry, died. It's 0. So 1 is 32%, 38% actually survived. And if we will split this data, this entire population data into training and test data, in the training data, 62% we will have as 0 and 38% will have as 1. And even in the test data, we will have the similar proportion. That's why we go, when we say stratified, it will take the equal proportion. Across this. Now, as I said, we are going to tune this model. So this model will not work, train model, because we have already used it. We are going to hyper tune that. And that will be under machine learning. Under train, we are already in train. Train model hyperparameter. What I have to do is I have to delete this and connect it to here. And this is, let me remove this for ease of understanding. I selected that and I deleted it. Now, let me give you a walkthrough one more time. So we added the data, we summarized it, we selected the column over here. This time we selected more column. We edited the metadata from string to categorical. Wherever the data was not present, we did the data imputation by clean missing data. Then we split the data. We split the data into 70% to test and 30 remaining into training. So this is that split data. This is our result data set 1 and this is data set 2. Now tune model hyperparameters. So one input is algorithm, which algorithm I'm going to run. And second is the training data. Right? Now I am only going to select this. I'm going to run the entire grid. Launch column selector, survived. And let me run selected. Oh, score model. This, if we see a red line or a problem over here is because when it's a two class decision forest and we have used tune model hyperparameters, we have to go for, earlier we went to single parameter, now we have to go for parameter range and then click on run. Okay, let me check what is wrong. In this core model, we see a red. The problem is, yes, we split the data here into 1730. 70% data goes into tune model hyperparameters, 30% goes into scoring model for testing. But for testing, how will it test? How will it know what we have created? So we need to create a connect over here. See, this sweep results, and this is trained best model. So trained best model, whatever we are going to train over here, it will become the input for the score model on the basis of training data. This is training data, and the test data comes here. So whatever model is created on the basis of training data, it is going to run it on test data. Okay, and now let's check it again. Parameter range, this everything is right. Let me not change it. Hyperparameter entire grid. we are going for accuracy. What you want to measure as a metric? Accuracy, precision, recall, F score. Let it be default accuracy, score model, and evaluation. Now I come here and I run the entire model again. If your data is too big, don't do that. It'll take some time. You see it is moving. So it's working on score model. These all have run automatically. Let's wait for a while. Now finally our model has run. I can right click on the output and I can go to visualize data. Now you see this is the area under the curve, and okay, this is our confusion matrix. True positive, we expected them to survive and they survived. We expected them to die, sorry, not survive, and they actually not survived. We expected them to not survive, they survived. We expected them to not survive, they survived. Okay. Now what we have to do is we have to match this with our previous numbers. I have already kept the numbers over here. This was our previous number. Accuracy was 78%. This time accuracy is almost 80%. So our accuracy has increased. Let me mark it green. Precision was 75. Not kept what was the precision last time. F1 score is this, and recall is 70. Average area under the curve is 84%, which is good. Now, if you look at accuracy, it has definitely increased, so we can keep this model. How do we calculate accuracy is, I've kept the formula over here. We add the true values, true positive and true negative, and divide it by the total sample. We get the accuracy 80%. How do we calculate precision? Precision is true positive. We expected them to survive and they survived. Divided by plus like positive positive and then positive negative. Yeah. False positive. False negative. So false negative. And this is true negative. And this is true negative. And this is negative positive. Okay. So this is precision. If you see, we have 75%. How did we get 75%? Is by true positive divided by true positive plus negative positive. Precision and recall is true positive divided by true positive plus false negative. And F1 score. F1 score is, this is a formula, 2 into precision into recall divided by precision plus recall. All right, guys. So we see that if we hypertune our model, it is slightly better than what we had originally checked. What we had originally checked is I can actually save this, and once it is saved, I can actually go to experiment, and I can go to my first experiment and come down over here, right click on this dot, visualize, that's output dot. So the area under the curve is definitely better in our new model, which is hypertune model. The 17.9, recall is 73. Let me write it over here, 73%, and precision is 71.5. F1 score is 72.2%. So F1 score is slightly better, Precision is better. Let me mark it green. Precision is also better. F1 score is better. Recall has slightly reduced. This will happen when this increases. Like we cannot increase all the parameters until we have really done something wrong in our previous experiment. This is slightly gone down, but the area under the curve had slightly increased. So if you see, it is 77% area under the curve. Let me write it. Area under the curve is equal to 77. Where it is 77.7, and in our current, how do we go back? We cross this, we click on experiment. I need not to save it because I did not make any change. Let me open this. And now let me jump onto evaluate data, click on the output, visualize. And we see that area under the curve is 84%. Means that most of the parameters have improved. So we are going ahead with this model. This is the model that we can actually deploy. Coming to web services, we can actually deploy this model. All right, guys, we will be covering few more machine learning models. And at the last, we will check how to deploy a model live. Okay, this is Devan signing off. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.